Do you think someone who owns that semi-trailer that has a 6-gear gear shift is going to let you drive their truck if you've only been driving little automatic Hyundais? And he's like, no. I said, well, why do you think you just get to hop into a woman's body without learning about it? There's a mic drop. Sorry, I'll take a breath right now, because it's even a little bit full on for me to say. It's like, to use these analogies, it's like I'm not having a go at men, but sometimes we got to fucking snap people out of it, because we live in a culture that basically puts across this agenda that a woman's body is available without even having to learn about it. And women don't even learn about their own bodies. They're shamed to learn. They're not raised to learn about their menstrual cycle, even though they've got one. This is how we hand our power over.
Welcome to the How to Heart Show, helping men reconnect to the heart and empower others as the leaders they were born to be. I'm Vincent Hazenboom. My mission is to help you speak your truth, own your authenticity, and step into your power. The world needs the raw and authentic man right now. Join us if you're ready to make a change.
Hey, what's up, Lions, and welcome to the How to Heart Show. Today again is a really exciting day because I have a really cool guest. I'm here with Melissa Louise, if I pronounce it correct.
Perfect.
And she's a specialist in sexuality. And what I like about her is the way how she talks about it, but also how authentic way of expressing and telling about how to men stand into their power. And I like also her raw side. So it's gonna be really fun and really cool to have this conversation with her. So yeah, Melissa, can you share with us who you are and what you do? And also welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vincent. I'm also really excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So I'm, so many things, but I think everything comes down to the funnel that I'm your absolute pleasure advocate. So as an erotic blueprint sex intimacy coach, what I've seen in my whole life, in the last 5 and a bit decades, everything tethers to pleasure. And if we're not bringing pleasure into our life, then what are we doing? And also this word pleasure is something that's been completely cornered into, an act of sex, an act of, two people together doing something, as opposed to life is so fucking pleasurable. And when we're looking at the hormonal system of a woman and also the hormonal system in men, but we need pleasure, and our world has vilified pleasure. It's made it something dirty. It's made it something that you get on a Sunday afternoon after you've done everything. It's made it something that you're allowed to have once the kids are in bed. And what we've replaced pleasure with is stress. And we're not going to get too political. I'm sure I will, because I always do at some stage. But, stress is a fantastic way to control the world. And in the layers of stress come in many, many different ways. But stress also separates us from our absolute innate ability to be really well in life. So if we're in stress, we're not in pleasure. If we're not in pleasure, then our hormones are just in this all the time, and we have so much sickness and illness. So this does completely tether back to sex all the time. But as a pleasure advocate, it's not just about your fabulous Sundays and your what's the name dates, your what do we call it? Like your intimacy dates with your partner, date night. It's actually how we live our life. And that is the true rebellion, If we're living in pleasure, then this is what we came here for. I mean, it's a bloody long ride if you're not going to tether to pleasure, I can tell you.
Yeah. So how did it start for you with the discovery of the pleasure, and that you really wanted to help men and women to discover that?
Thank you. This question is so important. Without our adversity, without pain, horror, shutdown, I don't think we can get the gold. It is part of the human experience. Sorry, this ear pod keeps coming out of this ear. it keeps coming out of my ear. Sorry, I just said two things at once. Without the adversity of life, like in our human condition, we don't really tether to the polarity, to the other side of it. And so by the time I still remember I was crossing the Nicaraguan border, but so much of my life heading up to that stage, I was in so much pain mentally, emotionally, and physically. Now, as a woman, as a girl born in Australia, especially born in rural Australia, I swear a lot, and this is how I get my point across. Excuse me, you may have to bleep it up. But I fucking well knew that being born in a female body, that everything was different for me. I would be blamed for the majority of attention that comes to me. It was up to me to take, even as young little girls, we are taught in religion, our existence is something that we need to contain, control, quieten down so that the rest of the world's fucking comfortable. The rest of the world being the masculine world. The masculine world is not taught to bloody well look after their energy. So especially in religion and especially in rural areas and especially in many cultures, the woman is to blame. If anything violent, I'm talking about sexual abuse, I'm talking about unwanted attention, all of that stuff. Younger, if you get into a group of women, and this is also around statistics are based on women that have the courage to come forth, women and boys, it's not based on reality. It's based on those that are willing to be vilified publicly and in their family to actually say, this happened to me. The majority of women do not. So if you ever sit in groups of women, it is minimum 7.5 out of 10, always up to 8, always up around 8.5 women will say that they've been sexually abused, molested, harmed. And we learned that there's nothing to go up against. It is the prerogative of our culture to abuse women. So I've come out of that, and also growing up was just being told to be quiet, told to let it go. Worse things have happened to other, like this tethering of like you can't have a say because worse has happened. So in that, I'm really good now. I'm actually I started writing my book last week, and I thought I was writing a chapter about something, and the opening chapter was about all of that. And I was witnessing myself and my body as I wrote about it, and went, oh my God, I've done so much incredible work to be able to start writing about it. But coming from that, when you know that as the existence in a female body is something that is public fodder, we also have to look at our menstruation, the fact that we bleed, the fact that every single human being is here because it grew inside of a woman's body, yet our menstrual cycle is not honored, it's not considered. We have to live under the sun calendar. We have to live in the masculine project, like a masculine-led world that suits men's energy, that suits the way that the industrialized version of the masculine needs to live. So by the time I've had my child, by the time it was also a fight, to home birth, to not vaccinate, to actually be an intelligent woman that could make her own decisions. I was being told that I didn't know, and all of this stuff, like our bodies don't know what to do. And it's like, wow, even through the pregnancy, the word cervix, I didn't know what my cervix was. I'm a 32-year-old woman. I didn't go to doctors and I didn't go and get all of the tests. So then with midwives and speaking, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And the revelation that we're raised generation after generation after generation to ignore the female body until it's medicalized, until you're pregnant, and that way we can hand it over to a system to take care of, like not to be autonomous. So by the time, and then of course comes the sex. Like if you want to have sex, if you love sex, then you're this, you're that, you won't be chosen. This is dangerous because if you are vivacious and you love sex and you want it, you're going to be left on the shelf. You are too much. You won't get chosen. You won't have a house to live in. You won't be able to have anyone to help you raise your children because, you're too loud, you're too this. You need to be contained to be chosen for partnership. These are all of the underlying stories that are everywhere. Even when you look at dental advertisements. And the way that they dress everyone, it's just like, be accepted, be covered. So by the time I'm walking across the border from Costa Rica to Nicaragua. I was with my son. I took my son out of Australia when he had his 7th birthday in Indonesia, and that was the last time I left Australia. I've never been back. He's been back once, but I've never been back. By the time here I am, single parenting, another huge story, taking on my government around paperwork, felt like I didn't fit in. I get like always. And I'm walking across the border to Nicaragua to do this 1 week there before we move to Peru. And I'm sitting on this bus, traveling there, going across, landing. And it was just this 48 hours going, so when are you going to do what you want to do? When you're actually going to step into what is really important. And so I spent these days writing this, what is important to me. If I could do anything that I wanted and I wasn't scared of public, vilification, I wasn't scared of being ousted out of my family, I wasn't scared for being, being scorned, it all came up as like our natural state of being. We menstruate, we're full of pleasure, we want to be loud, women of the wild woman is actually the deepest essence of us all. And I'd been working with men around their sexual energy for a few years in different iterations by now. And I'm just like, I'm doing all of this for men. Who am I where am I embodying that for myself? And what kept coming up was just like, yeah, I'm afraid of dying. When I say dying, it's like I don't fit in, I won't belong, like no one's going to talk to me, my family's going to reject me if I talk about sex, even though everyone talks about divorce, even though everyone will talk openly about infidelity and oh my God, and the divorce. And it's like, well, why do you think this is all happening? Why aren't we talking about what creates these issues? So that's a long-winded story of how I do it. I put a stake in the ground and said, if I'm going to live and continue to exist on this planet, and even though I'm raising a kid, and even though it's fucking scary, and I could die, dying is in like the primal brain of like, I'm going to be ousted out of community, I'm going to be rejected. I can't live if I don't do it, because I'm going to get these diseases because I'm not even speaking the truth. I'm not at ease in my body if I keep on staying silent about what's really important to me. And that was it. So it's all to a Nicaraguan border crossing.
Yeah, I feel the same way. For me, I felt really the black sheep of my family, or the black sheep of this world. Felt always different. I felt I didn't belong. And for me, I felt really confused. I felt really confused about who I am, about my masculinity, my femininity. I was really stuck in my feminine side. And I was really like living life just clueless, just watching porn all day and just ejaculating and feel good in the moment. But afterwards, I felt just empty. So, Melissa, how was it for you to discover the power of your sexuality? And also, what is the difference between the masculine and the feminine? Because you mentioned the masculine and the feminine, and you can really see that men are really pushed into the feminine side and women are really pushed into the masculine. So, what can you tell more about the masculine and the feminine and the sexuality?
So to answer that question, I'd like to go into the gift of the masculine to the feminine and the gift of the feminine to the masculine, because it's like we could be here for 3 days talking about this topic.
For sure.
So, as I'm sure that you're aware, is, we have, the world is full of polarity. The world is full of opposites. And within our own body, within our own existence, we have both. So the feminine has, our own masculine energy within it, as well as men have their own feminine energy within them. The feminine, what I really, really love, and what really speaks to me, and I know in my experience, it's so true. The Taoists teach that sex is designed for the female body to feel more. And in Tantra, they speak about this, what is the spiritual work of man and women? So the spiritual work of a man is to raise his energy up. So his arousal starts at his cock, starts in his pelvis, like he's aroused by life. He wants a new business. He's turned on to the new business. He's going for it. But his spiritual work is to raise that turn on, that arousal up through his core, up into his brain, to his hypothalamus, all the way up here. Whereas the feminine spiritual work is to come from above and down. Like we need to be descending our work, bleeding into the ground. All of our fluids to be coming out, nourishing the ground. Our spiritual work in our orgasm is the emotional release for our family lineage. We have spiritual orgasms available to us where DMT is released through our cervix. So all of these different gateways. And so in Tantra, they they speak in opposites. In Taoism, it's the yin yang. It's always the opposite. So, this is what I love about the human existence. So women are up in their head. This is our stress place. And our work is to really come down into a heart, down. To turn a woman on, you've got to turn her head on first. When her head is turned on, when she feels taken care of, when she feels noticed, when she can receive whatever it is that works for her, her heart will open. Only then will her pussy open. Her pussy opens from head, heart, then pussy. A woman's body will pull, her vulva will pull what it wants into her. You do not need to use lube. You do not need to use saliva. If you're using saliva and lube, it's obvious she's not ready. We're conditioned in our world that sex is for the man to have something, do something, and get something. And if the woman's fucking lucky, she might have an orgasm. That's how porn operates. That's how advertising operates. Like, our body's on show, but for us to actually receive anything is inconsequential, the way that it's produced. And if you look at any film, if you look at movies, sex happens within it's like, oh, you see each other, oh, there's a big fucking kiss and grab, her clothes are coming off and she's on the bed. And it's like, you haven't even had a conversation. You don't even know what she likes. She hasn't even put in a bed. Do you know what I mean? So we're just conditioned all the time. And a man has quick arousal, generally, like the quick arousal. And this is his energy. He knows what he wants. But just because he's aroused by something doesn't mean you don't just go for it. It's like how to build your strength. This is your power. So you have arousal, you turned on, and now breathing it up. Now you get to, fuel your core with this power and, your brain. I mean, if we even look at business, what's that? Napoleon Hill, when he wrote in the 1940s that book, Think Big, Grow Rich, all through the book, he talks about sexual mutation. All through the fucking book. All he talks about is not all. There's at least 13 different quotes, and there's all of these other places where it's, it's nuanced. If a man doesn't learn how to have ejaculation choice, then he will never do as well as his potential in business, because he's always seeking the quick deal, or seeking. He's weakening himself through ejaculation. If we have a look at your liquid gold, what's in it? The hormones, the neurotransmitters, the proteins, the collagen, your body needs that. You have this incredible system that produces this elixir that most men are taking pills for, vitamins and all of this stuff. Let's shove it in the mouth. When your body produces it, the dowsy, you raise it up your spine. It goes into your hypothalamus. Once it reaches your hypothalamus, it will come through your pituitary to your pineal gland. Women, the way that we can do different breast massages and different ways that we ignite the meridians in our hands and breathing. And this is how we also reboot our hormones. We have everything inside of us. So to separate us from our sexual energy is not about P and V all the time, or P and anus, penis and vagina, penis and anus, finger and anus, whatever. It's not about penetration. The Taoists and the Tantrics speak about our health. You can, the health of the ejaculate. And then also we have our spiritual and emotional health in the female body of what we need through our orgasm. So the opposing energies of the masculine and the feminine, a woman's body surrenders and opens and does that alchemized work, like our womb alchemizes the relationship, alchemizes our own emotions, alchemizes the emotions of her partner, of her family, everything, through her bleed, through her orgasm. So if you have a woman that's not experiencing deep vaginal orgasms, where she's not experiencing crying during orgasm, where she's not off in la fucking land for 3 days, she's not having these type of experiences, and she's also not honoring her bleed, she's in constant stress, and she's completely shut off from who she is as a woman, and she's in this female flesh suit acting, in the man's world. And then what happens is the man doesn't receive his greatness. It's adolescent relating. I've always heard that term adolescent relating when it comes to the way that we, might quickly get angry, or the way that we can't handle conversations, or we can't handle our emotions. But adolescence relating is a fantastic way to describe the way that most men have sex. Most men have sex, and this is Every time I say this out loud, I even feel comfortable because, as you know, I also work with women about not emasculating men. Most men fuck women as if they're fucking another man. And I've had clients who are like, oh, I can't be bothered with that when I speak about what, and they're like, oh yeah, but why? And I said, well, go start fucking men. I'm not gay. So, okay. So if you're not gay and you're fully heterosexual and you want to be with a woman, you've got to fucking learn about a woman's body. It's I love using sport analogies, and I love using analogies around cars. And I had to use this the other day, last week actually, with a beautiful, beautiful human. He was complaining and he was annoyed. So I asked him what sort of car, like what car did he ride? And he's a city boy, and so it's all automatic. And I said, have you ever driven a manual? I'm a farm girl. It's like, you want to turn me on? Fucking know how to drive a manual. So I just asked him, and he's like, no. I went, okay. I said, so what's going to happen if you just hop in a manual car and you start driving? He goes, oh, I don't know what to do. And I said, okay, but the person who owns a manual car, would they let you drive the manual? Well, he's like, no. And I said, okay, let's get a truck, a dump truck. You can tell all the vehicles I've driven, a dump truck or a semi-trailer. Do you think someone who owns that semi-trailer that has a 6-gear gear shift is going to let you drive their truck if you've only been driving little automatic Hyundais? And he's like, no. I said, well, why do you think you just get to hop into a woman's body without learning about it? There's a mic drop. Sorry, I'll take a breath right now, because it's even a little bit full on for me to say. It's like, to use these analogies, it's like I'm not having a go at men, but sometimes we got to fucking snap people out of it, because we live in a culture that basically puts across this agenda that a woman's body is available without even having to learn about it. And women don't even learn about their own bodies. They're shamed to learn. They're not raised to learn about their menstrual cycle, even though they've got one. This is how we hand our power over. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that landed with you. I'm sorry, because I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable in my stomach, but sometimes we've got to say these things out loud. It's a bit much, but it's true.
Well, the thing that came to me when you were explaining this was, I had the same feeling when I was with my ex-girlfriend. I was always just my own needs. I would just get inside her and come, and that's it. But afterwards, I felt really like miserable. She didn't even climax, and afterwards, I felt awful. Like, this is not okay. And we had a breakup and everything. And then later on in my own journey, I told myself, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to learn how I can pleasure women, how I can make them feel excited about sex, when I can play with them, when I can play with their pussy and all of that. So what I discovered, and I showed you, was the book. She Comes First, and it opened my eyes completely. I will show it, the book.
Yeah. Can I tell you a gorgeous little story about that? I was working with a beautiful client, beautiful young man, years ago. And, his whole journey with women was really, he didn't have experiences with women, So it was such an honor, I have to say, even though I've just said all of that stuff around men, it's such an honor for me to work with men. Like, it humbles me to the core. And so this gorgeous young man comes. And so, we go into this 4-month container, which is so exquisite. And I gave him that book to read. And he comes back and he's just like, oh, fuck. There's so much to women. He goes, I wonder if I could be gay. He wouldn't, but it was just this moment for him, like, it'd be so much easier because I know men. No, I get it. Yeah. I said, we live with ourselves. We know that we're a lot. But it was just it's such a great book. It's such a very important book.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I've learned a lot, and also how the clitoris work, how the vagina works, and how they get wet. Because I always believed that women get wet because they're aroused, but it doesn't work like that. She can also, when she feels aroused, she sweat. Her pussy is sweating. But it can also be she's having something is dealing with her in her life, or she thinks about something. So it doesn't mean when she's ready for sex, when she feel aroused, her vagina gets wet. So I've learned a lot along the way, and also he teaches really cool stuff: how to pleasure women, how to tease her, how to go
Mhm.
rough on her. But what I've
Mhm.
liked is really, I was thinking about myself. I was only
Mhm.
thinking about how can I climax, how can I come really
Mhm.
fast and feel fulfilled when I left her hanging. So I made really my purpose, and I also, maybe I can do something in the future also, or with you, to teach men how to pleasure women, flip the
Mhm.
switch, because women, they, like you said, they don't have orgasms. And it's
Mhm.
really sad. You can really see it in women, and they lie about it when they climax, and it's not okay. And I feel men, they need to be pay more attention to that, right?
I know this thing about where women believe they don't want to make the man feel bad. I'm like, what fucking planet are we on that our bodies are open and someone can come in and we're worried about their feelings? Like, Jesus, women, if you are concerned about a man's feelings around that, what are you doing opening your legs for that? Like, we're conditioned to be the vessel. If you're concerned about a man's feeling, call him in, call him to his greatness. Women, in that thing of like, we're worried about a man's feelings, like, you are weakening him. That's how you fucking weaken a man. Like, how pathetic to think that the man that you've opened your body to, that moment, that because you don't have an orgasm is going to demoralize him, then, like, why are you adolescently relating to him also? Call him to his greatness. Tell him that he needs to slow down. Tell him, like, seduce him into how to touch your body. It's like we're keeping each other like in that situation. It's like the women's weakening the man. Men are fucking capable of so much greatness, and we keep them as adolescent boys inside of men's bodies. One other thing I really love asking my clients and men is, think about the way that you masturbate and have, especially when men are in their 40s and 50s, is like, how are you having sex with your partner and how are you masturbating? And they're kind of like, what do you mean? I said, is it any different to when you're 14? Oh, I've had men just like sit there for minutes with their mouth open going, holy fuck, nothing's changed. I'm like, yeah, that's 3.5 decades. It's 4 decades. 4 decades of doing the same thing. You don't run your business like that. You now have children. Like, everything else in your life has changed, but the way that you masturbate, like, let's go.
Yeah.
But the same thing's for women. It's like women don't understand their bodies. Women won't self-pleasure. The amount of women, and I was one of these. This is when we're looking at, like, how did I get where I am now? When I was pregnant, it wasn't just my partner who was looking at my pussy. I suddenly had a midwife and doulas looking at my pussy. I hadn't seen it. So what? And then, the birth it's like everyone having access to my body, and I hadn't looked at my pussy. And that was a huge wake-up call. I didn't know what my cervix was. 32 years of age, wasn't quite sure. I knew it got scraped and painful, which is also another thing you don't need to do. Women don't touch their own cervixes, but they'll allow a fucking scraper to be on it. So it's not just the fault of the man. And when I work with men and I speak to men, it's like, if a woman doesn't know what she wants and she can't tell you what she wants, and you pull back. When is a woman's pussy ready for penetration? Do you know?
When she feels aroused, but usually it's different.
When she's fucking begging for you, that's when she's ready. Not, as you say, with wetness can be non-accordant, like non. Oh, what's that word? I've just lost it. I was thinking about it. We can become aroused without us actually. Sorry, we can
Yeah,
become wet
exactly.
without. But also too, in Quidosha, I don't know if you've heard of Quidosha. Actually, don't have the book right here. It's out on that bookshelf. In Quidosha, there's 9 different types of penises and 9 different types of vulvas. So it depends what type of vulva you have to also how you become aroused. And I know for one of them, it's called the sheep vulva. She gets really wet quickly, but she's not completely plump on the outside. And she's actually, she's still not really ready. It doesn't mean everything is swollen on the inside. This is the issue with UTIs and women not being able to experience orgasm because they're receiving penetration way too early. And early is not a thing by minutes. It's not like, wow, you've been touching me for 40 minutes. It's like, okay. But what is not cleared, like, it's not just about the physical touch. Also, when you think of a woman's body, it's like, what truth needs to be said? What's been held back? What are you not saying to your partner, not asking for what you need. Like, if you're not telling a woman how beautiful she is, if she doesn't feel that she really belongs in this space, if there's no belonging, you know, that she's not really adored and she's not loved, it's very difficult to have an orgasm. Very difficult. I'm one of those women. It's like, if I'm not being adored, like my love language, what are our love languages? My love language is words of affirmation. If I don't have all of these words of affirmation, it's like I'm seriously not going to ejaculate. Seriously, I'm not. You can be there for fucking half an hour. It's not really going to happen, because it's not the pussy. It's the whole system, the balming of the system. And so this is where the Taoist sex is designed for the female body to feel more. We have so much glorious work to do. And the man's gift, his power, his full-on power. And we were just talking about this before you. So I'd love to bring you, for you to talk about now, as you said, what you experienced when you were mastering your ejaculation. I don't use that word semen retention, because retention can, when I say that word retention, there's a contraction in my vulva and in my anus. So for me, it's
Holding it in, yeah.
Yeah, it's a word that doesn't work in my system. Everyone finds their own word. So I love ejaculation choice, mastering your ejaculation. You choose when, how, and with who you ejaculate with.
But it's I've also tried it also with the pelvis floor exercise, but I felt it so difficult to, when you feel the urges to come and then just train yourself not to come, it's difficult. I also learned it from David Dida, The Way of the Superior Man, and he talks also about that. And it's really challenging. For me, it's really difficult not to ejaculate when you feel you want to do it, because the urge is like, you want to do it, but in my mind, it's like, no, I want to keep it. But it's challenging. I think for a lot of men, it's really challenging to mastering that.
I think what I want to really acknowledge for men, the challenge is not just their physical challenge as them, as you know, as yourself in your own body, in your experience. When we understand about epigenetics, and when we understand about what's that word? They use it all in Coca-Cola ads. It's like, whatever we see, like, we are so manipulated by what we see and what we hear. So if you have a man that reaches, let's say, the age of 35, 40, 42, 50, and he's now, all of this new information is coming in. Now it's like, he's on his second divorce, or it's like, I'm not laughing at that. Like, it's just, the reality of like separation, depression, things not working. And now he's going to change. He's looking to change. It's understanding the cellular memory, what's in the myofascia, what's in your blood, what's in your brain, of what you know. If you've been watching porn, you are geared. You're also, there's a primal part that you were geared to ejaculate as well, way back from ancestors. But you're not raised in a culture that speaks about your part. Like, at the age of 14, you're not in a circle of men where the man is talking, the martial arts guy that's, you're around a fire and you've got these men talking about lasting long, not ejaculating. So it's not in your sphere. So you have decades of something, and then you're going to change it. Like, your system is made up of the reality that you're going to ejaculate because it feels good. On a primal sense, you are geared to ejaculate because, let's go way back. I like using this analogy because I have seen it in my past lives. But you're in Africa, or you're in a jungle, and when women ovulate, conscious conception, the truth of conscious conception is a woman would dream about, she's about to have a baby, like, oh, she is, a baby's coming. And so maybe she dreams that her baby is the best, like construction, like if you're living in a village or living somewhere, and her baby, actually, let's go to ocean because I love water. She dreams that her baby has an affinity with water. Like, she dreams that a baby's deep sea diving, free diving, all of that stuff. So then when she's ovulating, she will go and make love with all of the top men, the men that are the best in the ocean. She wouldn't go and make love with the guy that constructs incredible thatch roofs, because that's not incongruent with the dream that she had. The dream is the baby's going to have an affinity with water. So then she makes love with all the men that have this incredible affinity with water. So she's bringing in this energy. Now, you as a man, you want it to be your baby. Yeah. So, but when you're out in the jungle, or when you're out elsewhere, you need to ejaculate So that, and this is often too why men are quiet, and it's, oh my God, we need to make more noise. There's a whole primal thing that happens in the female body. We get wetter. If you're a man that's silent through sex, it shuts the woman down. Her body can't open more and more. It reaches a point, and then there's stuff happening. And if the man's silent, her body will start, it can't go further, because there's a whole response between the yin and the yang. Her body will open more. Oh my God, he's making noise. Oh my God, he loves it. Oh my God, I want more. Oh my God. And the cervix moves. All the science of how our bodies work in relation with one another. It's so gorgeous. So you are geared to ejaculate. You need to ejaculate quickly so that you don't get eaten by the jaguar. You don't get you don't get, other men don't come and kill you. Do you know what I mean? Also too, if we're thinking about when we're in small groups or communities, the man with the protectors, the men are protecting his village, not just his children and his wife. They're protecting the whole village. So when you're having sex, and if there's lots of noise, other people know, like maybe your enemy knows, or an animal, knows, oh, you're distracted. Easy fucking prey. Yeah. Whereas a woman's making noise so that the other men know that she's on heat. Like, it's just this dichotomy. So she's like, she's got this whole vocal thing going, come, because he's going to ejaculate and fall asleep. So this is also too why you guys have more prolactin than women. You ejaculate, and just before the release of the ejaculate, your body gets flooded with prolactin. So prolactin is the hormone that then just makes you rest and sleep. So when we have this reality that, for many women, they experience, their partner turning over and falling asleep, and not your prolactin. Some men have prolactin that is, I had a lover like this, thank fuck we had a conversation first, like about aftercare. What do you know, the aftercare conversation? What do you need after sex? What do you need after an ejaculation? All of that stuff. And he's like, oh babe, fuck, I've really got to tell you. He said, once I ejaculate, he goes, I can't touch you. He said, I'm so repulsed by touch that I'll get angry. He goes, once I ejaculate, I need to fall asleep. So, but it takes about half an hour. He said, once I wake up, I'll be all over you. If he had never told me that, do you know where my head's going to go? Do you know, because we open and our body opens, and then we receive the ejaculate of this man. So it's inside of us. His DNA is inside of us. And then we've got rejection going on because he's sleeping. But in the primal aspect, where a woman's going to be making love during those 3 days with 5, 6, 7, 8 men, you need to fall asleep so you don't kill the guy that's the next guy that's coming. Prolactin's a woman's best friend. If she's fucking a lot of men during her ovulation, she wants to have men that have got lots of prolactin so they fall asleep and she can get to the next one. So it's understanding the way that our hormones work. So that's often too, if you're consistently ejaculating, number one, you're depleting your body of this elixir that's designed for your power and designed for you to think more and designed for you to have, better brain capacity, all of that stuff. But your body's also like prolactin, and it's depressing. It's like you're separation is separate, like you're just like, you don't feel. For some men they don't. They do want to cuddle and things like this. Is where everyone is so different. And we need to have these conversations before we become intimate to know what each other needs and to let each other know what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I think the communication part is really left out in the bedroom. But what I also noticed with myself was I wanted to be like intense, but also like nice. So I wanted to ask because I've also did a course, and it's really about being in your prime, in your belly, in your like caveman rawness, really the rawness. And I was so afraid to show that rawness, and really also in the bedroom, really to pull her hair or to grab her throat and just go nuts. And I was so afraid to show that. And she said, the instructor said, women love that. Women want the primal man. She craves it. And it didn't click. It's like, yeah, but I want to be nice. I want to be giving a good time. So how important is it also for men to show that roughness, that masculine roughness, and really also show who's boss in the bathroom, if I can say it like that?
I love that you're saying that out loud. It is really like, sex is a place that we go to. It's not this act that we do. So the place that is able to come out is a nurtured place. So, for you to be really rough with your woman and really take her and to go deep and to really have control, that's not going to, you can't just be washing the dishes at the sink, and next minute, like it's just like it's not going to work. Especially the way the female system works. If you want that, fuck another man, as I always say. If that's what you want, and and it's also a conversation. And these conversations are so sexy and sensual. And you have these conversations out in public across the, having coffee or eating dessert, and you're just leaning in, and you're like, okay, so what, let me know if I was to do this, would this turn you on? And it's like, what would you need from me for me to be able to do that to you? And as I was saying before, it's like for women, it's like what happens during the day, where how do they, how are they able to be in the space where they can completely surrender? How do they trust you? So it's like, if you're in a family and there's 3 kids and there's all of this stuff, and she hasn't even had a break, like she hasn't even had a day off for 27, 28 days in a row, and the dishes haven't been done, and she's cooking. It's like, that is not the environment. The environment needs to be set up where there's relaxation and where she feels sexy, all of that stuff. But also too, to really take your woman, where does the trust need to be built outside? Where does truth? Now, the other thing is to have a man in his primal energy. The woman really needs to feel like she can fully fucking trust a man. And a woman will trust her man when she knows he's telling her the truth. So if you're consistently trying to make your woman happy and you are not looking after your own needs, she can fucking feel it. She'll get to the point where she's manipulating you. She won't like it, but if that's the only thing that's going to happen, okay. So a few things. So actually, this came up recently with the new lover of mine too. It's like the whole thing about dinner and fucking. So many men, you're taking a woman out on it. This is not on the first date, obviously, but say you have a partner and you guys haven't connected for a while. And so, okay, well, I'm going to set up a date and I'll take you out for dinner. It's like, the reality is you want to come home and you'd much prefer, like she has a shower, you're both getting ready if you live together, and you're about to go on this 4-hour dinner date. You would so much prefer to fuck her before you take out for dinner, but you don't actually say it, yeah? You don't say it. You're like, yeah, darling, you look good. And you spend this whole time thinking about sex, but now you've got the meal and all of this stuff, and we can fucking feel it. Baby, does this dress look good on me? Yeah, darling, it looks great. Don't fucking lie. You know what, honey? No. Your ass looks so much better in the red dress. Go and put that on. Yeah?
Exactly.
And where's your high heels? Why have you got flats on? Put on your high heels. I'm walking behind you all night. Put on your high heels. Then you get out in the street, yeah? And she's walking towards the traffic. You're next to the wall and she's next to the traffic on the sidewalk. Her system's like this. Many white women, many Western women sort of don't even get to be raised in these arenas, and they're just always in survival, like protection mode. You want to get primal with your woman, you've got it all in all of your life. Where are you protecting her? Where can she soften? Where can she let go? Open the car door, order the food for her. You can even sit her down at the restaurant and say, baby, you wanting fish or lamb tonight? Sorry, do you want fish or lamb? Oh, I'd love fish. Awesome. Do you want champagne or red wine, or do you want soda water? I'd like both. Awesome. I'll get you both. And just start taking care of the space. Yeah. Follow through. If you're always saying you're gonna pick her up at 7 and you arrive at 7:45, don't fucking think you can pin her to the bed. If you're always late, so it's taking care of business outside. What I had an incredible experience about 6 months ago, and I tell all of my male clients this, like to do it. This is a really great way to lean in. If you haven't played with these energies for in your relationship before, this is what I love about kink containers, consent conversation. You can, your woman, whatever, you've kissed her so deeply and you can feel her soften, and you can just hold her up against the wall and you hold her gaze. You hold her gaze. She starts to talk. You just put your finger over her lips and you breathe deep, looking in her eyes, and you're like, I'm going to bite your shoulder. And I'm going to keep on increasing the pressure until you say orange. You say orange when it starts to get too much. Not red. Red is too much, but I want you to tell me orange when it starts to get uncomfortable. So this is like, you told her what's happening. You're taking control. But now you're also setting up this container of, okay, you're going to bite her shoulder. Yeah. So she knows you're telling her you're going to do that. But you've also given her the control. Obviously, she's going to say orange when it's too much. So now you start to gauge her level of what she can receive. And so she'll say orange. Awesome. And then you say, thanks, babe. Thanks for looking after you, or thanks for letting me know, or like, awesome, now I know, whatever it is. Then you go to the other shoulder and you say, this time I'm biting you until it's red. You don't fucking say a word until it's too much, and you tell me red, and when it's red, I'll stop. Let me tell you, every time I tell my female friends, or I tell a female client, like, ask this, this is from your partner, they go like, oh, fuck, I'm gushing already. Fully clothed, the woman's like, oh my God, he's taking control. Oh my God, look at you. I mean, that's it. I mean, look at it. That was 2 fucking minutes. Control, control, consent, boundaries, safety, all in one fucking sentence. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I'm a brat. Yeah. And this is where it gets so good. So the lover that did this on this shoulder, it was awesome. I'm like, oh fuck. This is the second or third date or something. And so like we're leading into like, when are we going to have sex type thing? I'm like, I'm fucking ready. Like just that. Oh my God, I can trust him. So he did that. And then he went on this side to do the red. And as a brat, soon as his mouth got next to my shoulder, I said red, like as a joke. He got up, walked out, said, now I'm cooking you breakfast. Oh, mother, no. And he's at the door and he said, you fucking said red, brat. That's it. Now you've learnt. Don't fucking play with me. And I'm like, oh my God. And what that is in the system is trust. Like that is trust straight away. He gave me a construct. He followed through, even though I was playing and I didn't play by the rules. He played by the rules. Fucking trust. Boom. That's how. So now here comes the primal. Yeah. So now when you set something up like that, and this is also too, to be able to let go. So here I've given you some little examples. Okay, here we go. All of the outside, then this way to play. When you have a safe word in your relationship, in your play, you can let go, because now you don't have to monitor her. When I say you don't have to monitor her, you have to really trust that she's going to use it. And you've got to say, babe, I'm trusting that you will say orange. And you can even say, I'm just going to let go. I'm going to fucking bring all of my primal self. I'm going to fucking ravish you. I'm going to go so deep and hard until I hear orange. And I need to know that you're going to use the word. You need to have your back in this. And if you get a yes from her and you fully trust her, awesome. Yeah, awesome. Now you can let go. And it's the build up. Now, if she's waiting for this hard and this primal, of course you're going to start slow and you're going to like edge it a bit. And she's like, would you fucking, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? You got to play with this energy. And so by the time you're reaching into like this really deep fucking, because there's this trust, because her heart's going to be more open, her cervix is going to be softer, and her cervix is going to be more towards her womb as opposed to into the vagina, which means you're going to have more room inside of her vagina. Because if the heart's open and the heart's soft and she fully trusts you, there's going to be more room in her vagina. A lot of people there's things that we don't learn about. So the cervix will go back so that more cock can be into the vagina. The cervix of service to the vagina. In here, it'll just move back here. It's like more. I want more.
Well, Melissa, it's been. I knew it was a juicy episode, but I've learned a lot. So I'm really, really grateful for this talk. But I want to later on. I want to talk more about the porn part and why men should quit. Well, they need to quit, but more about the semen, the ejaculation, and why it's better to have like control instead of just watching porn and then ejaculate. So I really want to go and discuss that more with you. But before we go there, I want to share a commercial for 2 minutes, and it's about gold and silver. It's really cool. It can have a benefit and asset to your life. So here we go.
Increasing expenses have caused us all a lot of pressure these days, and it's affecting even the wealthiest of people. Most have lost their sense of security, stability, and even hope for a strong financial future. The game plan of everyone in your cell phone has likely been disrupted or even hardcore stopped, and most are looking for a creative solution to regain financial momentum. Oftentimes, life's best solutions are the simplest. But first, a question. What is something most people think they should own but don't? Crypto, fine art, real estate? Nope. We are talking about real money. The kind kings and queens fought for and large institutions today buy in mass. We're talking about gold and silver, assets that provide confidence in tough financial situations. So the question is, do you own any? If you don't, you're not alone. Most people aren't maximizing the power of precious metals because it's just been too complicated. And even though they see advertisements about gold and silver daily, they don't really know who to trust. That is, until now. The bottom line is that buying gold and silver doesn't have to be complicated or scary. There's a simple, better way to accumulate assets and create financial peace, headache-free. And this very minute, a new community of average people are seeing above average results to the tune of tens of millions in assets over the last few years. This system is tested, it's simple, and it's not an experiment. To date, it's helped more than 80,000 people bring hope back into their lives. It's invitation only, and right now, this new community has accepted a challenge to give away as much free gold this year as possible. Curious? Learn how to get your free gold today. Check out the next step to get the details.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So, Melissa, it's really interesting, especially with the men and women dynamics. And for me, as an ex-nice guy, for me, really learn and understand women and also myself, it's so important. And like you said, the women don't understand themselves or the body because maybe shame or they're afraid or something happened or it's in their past or trauma, but still discovering the power that you have and what you're capable of is really worth it, right? To really go into the trauma side or the shadow side and really start working on yourself.
Oh, was that a question? Sorry.
Yeah, it's a question.
I thought you're making a fantastic yes, the truth. Yes.
Yeah, but it's important, and I think a lot of guys also feel the same way when you having sex with your partner or a one night stand and she's just there pretending to have orgasm. I would feel awful. I would feel really terrible. So I really invite men to do searching, go and discover or connect with Melissa and see what she can do for you. But
come to me.
yeah, but it's so important for you to also for me, it was really important for my sexuality. How can I feel good about myself and my sexuality, but also connect with women on a deeper level? Really look into her eyes, just gaze her eyes and just see if she looks away first, or just those moments. And even though sex is not always important, but the sexual tension that you can have, it's really beautiful. Just the energy between you and your partner. So I feel like as men, it's really, when you see women, it's always sex, we see women as an object, and I feel like we really need to change that, really, to have like a mutual respect, but also have a playful mindset, have a playful way with women, and not just see her as for you to ejaculate and have sex and then just roll over and we're done. She has feelings, and she, like you said, women are really intuitive, so she knows exactly if you're just a random guy or whatever. So yeah, women are really, really great with feeling what's going on. But
Can I
like
just say
said,
something to that?
yeah, for sure.
Vincent, it's also too, when we're looking at connection, means, okay, I've matched with someone somewhere, or I like that person. And so therefore it's like, we've got to have P and V and ejaculation as if this is the way to relate. This is what I love about the erotic blueprints. When we look at, there's 5 different love languages, 5 different erotic blueprints. So when we're looking at the world of kink, looking at the world of energetics, looking at the world of sensuality, it's like even having dates or having connections with another person, we take orgasm off the fucking table. Like it's not on the thing that we're going for an orgasm opposed to going for pleasure. So can you imagine? I imagine a world. This is, if I had it all my way, this is what would happen in a world. You know, all of the different dates we could have. Like just going out on a date. Actually, my dearest female friend did this. She gave me the best Christmas present ever. But just a few months ago, obviously, because Christmas. But imagine going on a date with a woman and you've had like one or two dates, you get on really well with her, and then you take it to dinner and you blindfold her, or you invite her to, your house, or you're at her house, or you go somewhere where, and you blindfold her and you feed her dessert, and then you feed her other food, you describe it to her. She gets to have all of her senses enlivened. You brush her hair. Like that's the date where her senses are alive. And women to do that to men. Like years ago, I remember when because I hold cacao ceremonies and I do all of this stuff in like to 40 people at one time. I was doing this in Canada and Costa Rica, and I've done a few here in Mexico, where we drink cacao. We have I've had live musicians and sound bowls, all of this stuff where people are fucking high as kites. Like I'm famous. When I say I'm famous, the famosity of these ceremonies is everyone says I have the best sex in my whole fucking life after one of your ceremonies. And I did. And I don't take my clothes off. It's like it's the most but it's so sensual, and then all of their senses are so alive. So being able to do this for one another, that is a connective date. That you are so in safety and so alive. And this is one thing. It's like because we have attached pleasure and aliveness to sex, like that's when we feel like we can fully be we can abandon ourselves of constraint and control, and we can let ourselves go. We keep on placing a lot of the stuff into sex. But women are actually, most of the time, women are not looking for more sex. They're looking to feel alive, because we live in a world that shuts our aliveness off. And we're in this, masculine project run world and run by the sun calendar that we just like, most women just don't understand what their feminine energy and their menstruation, all of that is about. But they have this deep thing in here, like this craving to feel alive. This is how addiction comes in. You're saying with men to feel, this is another thing, when you're always ejaculating, you don't have the power in your body that your body is designed to have. You don't, and I can't wait for you to share out loud is what you showed me before we started, like the power that you felt. That is your aliveness and your greatness. And so this is another thing of you're aroused, you want to take this woman out, and you're attracted to her. But what are all of the things? Instead of I'm attracted to her, so therefore how do I get her into bed? How do you not get her into bed? How do you do all of these things? All of this play, all of this arousal, all of this seduction that's got nothing to do with the bedroom. Think, become creative, have lots of fucking fun instead of just going for P&V in the bed.
Yeah, that's I think that's the most beautiful thing also for me. If I was with somebody, for me just having a deep conversation and really walk with her and just do cool stuff with her, just being alive together, it has more meaning than sex, because sex, it's fun, it's exciting, but just the connection, just the yin and yang, the flow with her, just hear her giggle, just hear her laugh. And I think that's what we're missing. We're just so focused on getting her into bed instead of looking and sharing the beautiful moments that you have with her. If she just looks at you and she just looks away and just start to giggle, for me, it's priceless. It's really beautiful.
When you just said yin and yang, I know there was something that I didn't say when we talk about the primal. Like when a woman's, when you're in your primal energy, the more primal you are, the more yang you are, which means the feminine body is more yin, and that's that yin and yang thing, the symbol in the Taoist. So when you're not in your primal energy, you're kind of the gray. You're not black, but you're kind of nearly her. So you're nearly, the nice guy, the too careful guy. That's why women get annoyed around men. It's like, fuck, you're becoming more yin than me. And then they get angry. And so they have to become yang to try and balance out this wateriness. So that's where that primal energy comes. That's why we like, just like, you know, the sweat. Stop having so many fucking showers and stuff. Like, people are this is actually something with the pill, and when people use a hell of a lot of spray, and it fucks with their hormones, it fucks with their pheromones, everything. And so where people believe that they're attracted to each other, then they move in together and they can't stand each other after a few months because they start smelling the real smell. And if a woman goes off the pill, now her real, and she can't handle. So that's also a thing. If women are on the pill, we see this all the time. So when a woman is on the pill, it's tricking her body that she's pregnant. Yeah. So when a woman is pregnant, she needs safety and family. So she needs family. She needs brothers. So when a woman is on the pill and starts a relationship, her body is attracted to a brother, like family, safe, nice guy. Get her off the pill. And this is, people say, you know, this is also too, where the fucking medical world is so happy, because then, you know, a woman's body that is not falling pregnant with a partner, it's not just something wrong with her. You have to really look at that. And I know and awesome. Let me get slaughtered. Let's people have big reactions to this. But if you're a woman who's on the pill, you get together with your partner and you fall in love, you're falling in love with something that's safe. Yeah. The nice guy, the brother, like the family, that your hormones are acting like that because it thinks it's pregnant. We need safety and family to care for the baby. We can't have wildness, motorbike riding, you know, abandonment energy. If we're going to be pregnant, we need we need you here. So because the body thinks it's pregnant, okay, now we're attracted to nice family, easy, safe love. Okay, not eroticism, love. So you move in together, you want to get pregnant. So she goes off the pill. It's so many women talk about this, and it's awful because it's really sad, and women get really concerned about it. It's like, I'm not attracted to my man. We're engaged, we're trying to get pregnant, and I can't stand him. And it's like can't stand the noise, his voice anymore. It's like can't stand him because the pheromones. You met him in safety. Now you need eroticism to get pregnant. So they'll try to get pregnant for a year, and then she'll go and get bloody IVF. It's so insane how much money is made out of women's bodies when we're just not listening to the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I agree. And also the thing that you really mentioned was really beautiful about the past. It's really about the cave time. We are still wired like that. Men and women still operate as the cave time. And even though our outside is modernized, still we act and behave the same way as in the past. Women want safety, and men are really like, they want to take action. They want to do things. And women really want to be nurtured, really to be a helping man. And it's more like what you see now is really fighting each other. And there's no balance. There's no balance in the masculine and the feminine. And still we're still wired as in the past. And we're acting like animals. We don't act like our true nature.
We're very domesticated. So even in that, when it's like we're not acting in our true nature, we're also very isolated in this true nature. So women need lots of other women. We need to be in community, but we are placing, Esther Perel's talked about this for years, is what we require from our relationship is what a village and a community used to provide us. So now we're putting all of this pressure on this one person. They need to provide to us what 35, 40, 50 people used to provide for us. Laughter, entertainment, safety, all of the stuff. We're seeing our partners every single day, like every breakfast, every dinner, in isolation. And then we have children. And two people raising 2 or 3 or 4 children is fucking insane. Like when we take primal nature, we are not designed to raise children on our own. Men are not designed to also provide all of the shelter, all of the food, and all of the security for one woman and these children. It's meant to be a community doing that. And a man's meant to go out, our primal nature is that he would care for all children. He would care for all women of his village. And we live in a world where women are not safe from their partner and from community. And we are required to raise children in these fucking conditions. It's disgusting. It's a whole nother podcast. I'm not going to get political about monogamy and religion and how it fucks women over. But no.
I know we're on the same page on that, but the message that I want to share is really to see women also as human beings and see men as human
Mm,
beings and not as an
mhm.
object and as a sex slave or just
Yeah.
to have your way with her. See her as who she is and also listen to each other. I think I haven't been in much relationships, so I cannot really speak out of experience, but I've been in a really toxic one and I didn't speak my truth. I didn't tell
Mm,
how I felt. I wasn't clear with her and I pushed her so much in her masculine that I was so
mm,
in my feminized side
mm,
that there was an unbalance. I wasn't taking the lead, like you said. I wasn't telling her what I wanted to do. I wasn't saying, okay, let's go for a walk, or I wasn't in my leadership and my masculine. So it
mm,
was really difficult for me to get myself out of the feminine side and go into the masculine,
mm.
but not be over masculinized. Just be in balance with my masculine side and also be my feminine side. And you see a lot of men there, or really very masculine side, or really in the feminine side.
Yeah.
So I really feel, and it's important to get men and women back in the
Mhm.
natural state, so women can relax in the feminine and men can operate more in the masculine, and then you have balance, and then your relationships will be a lot better and
Mhm.
healthier.
Can I say something about this masculine feminine energy? Because often what we've had, it depends how it's been presented to you. And what a lot of women sort of what we're not actually shared with or don't understand. It's like to be in your feminine energy is fucking wild. It's not this soft pink. Yes,
Mm.
we, the more safety we feel in our relating relationships, we can open and the more wildness comes out. Same thing with the primal nature of the masculine. If he feels that his woman really trusts him and he's built that container, he feels like he's really he has autonomy in his life, he will be more yang. Like he will be also stronger and more in his primal. But this feminine act of feminine energy is not just this like soft fawning type energy. It's like we're fucking wild in our feminine energy.
Yeah, true.
It's like which is awesome, and men love it. This is one thing women are often too concerned, because the way that they're raised, that they're too concerned to be truly themselves, and we withhold. So many women withhold themselves from their men. They're not giving their men all of themselves. They're true. The whole men want range. Like this is the other thing when we speak about these primal. Oh, men are more geared to straight. Men want variety. And because we have many women on the pill and we have women living under the sun calendar, women are not their full all of themselves, because we go through 4 different energies in a menstrual cycle. So we are the wild woman, the maiden, the crone, the erotic queen. We're all of these different energies. So actually within your own relationship as one woman, you are everything. So if you're withholding and you're not yourself, he's just he's not getting the range that he needs and requires for his system. It doesn't mean that you need to be polyamorous and open up the relationship if that's not your thing. You can be it in one relationship, but we're all conditioned to contain ourselves. You guys are conditioned to, you got like since the 1950s, and we're all moving in and sitting down. So many boys are raised where they're not even allowed to be dirty. They're not allowed to yell. They're not allowed to pick up rocks. They're not allowed to throw sticks. The amount of boys that I see in cities and things that are dressed in this powder blue concept, and they have to keep clean, and they're not allowed to run, and don't hop on the scooter, you'll fall off. Like, fuck it. We just treat our boys as if they're stupid little fucking minions. Boys are capable of so much. Boys not even allowed to fucking climb trees because they might fall out. Well, why the fuck are we even driving? You don't drive a car. You might have an accident. Why have you got a kid
Yeah.
in a car and going on a highway? Accidents happens on highway. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just insane, the shit that comes out of people's mouths. Don't go fast on the bike. You might fall off. Yeah, fucking yeah. He might. Big shit.
Yeah.
He'll fall off the bike. Okay, he's bleeding. Hold him. The thing is, like, I told you so. See what happens when you ride a bike? Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. I guess it's so annoying to me. We're so domesticated. We
No,
domesticate our dogs. We domesticate our boys.
yeah, I agree. I for myself, when I was younger, I was just playing. I was rolling in the dirt. I was building things. But now, as everybody is scrolling, you see children just playing video games. It's like I said, they're making people useless, only to have like in slavery and in working
Mm,
for a boss and all of that. But we're, like I said, we're not operating in our roles. We're not
Mhm.
in our power. So I really feel that we need to go more into that as well. But I like to really make a jump, Melissa, to porn and the addiction and
Let's
also
do
the
that.
ejaculation, because as a porn addict, it was really challenging to quit, but also I've seen the damage it causes.
Mhm.
Luckily, I don't have premature ejaculation or that I can have a boner. But I heard many stories from men that have premature ejaculation and also they cannot get it up because of porn. So,
Mhm.
how damaging can porn be to men? And also, what does it do with your dopamine levels? Because I think a lot of men don't realize what it does with your dopamines.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting, especially from the female point of view of what it creates in our body. When a man is raising himself on, because also men are imagery, the imagery based, it is your system. It's kind of like the Disney movies for girls, like going, like, oh, Disney, this prince is going to come. Like this, it's a fallacy. It's not real life. So when you're consistently watching something that's not real life, the perception is that that's going to happen. So it's this thing about a woman's body is for him to ejaculate. That's what sex is for. Like if you're going to get on a dating app, if you're going to go out and ask a girl out, the generally like especially young boys, if they start watching porn at a very, very young age, it's an act. I'm gonna fucking grab her hair. I'm gonna do that. Like it's the violent. It's like the using of the female body harder and harder and harder to get the ejaculation. And so if you start with some scenes and start pornography in a way, then you've got to up the ante. It's the same thing with fitness. Say you start running 3 miles 3 times a week. Well, after 3 weeks, you're just kind of maintaining, but you're not pushing your edges. So you're not getting fitter. You're not getting stronger because you're just doing the same thing. So it's the same thing with your arousal. If you're just seeing a certain type of scenes, then you need something harder or something more erotic or something more edgy to get your arousal, to get your arousal, to get your arousal. So you're pushing this, it's also with the dopamine, you're pushing something like the edges. Now, these edges involve like women, but they don't, because there's no conversation, there's no consent. It's all for the male gaze, and it's all about adolescent style relating power. I see it, I want it, I'm going to fucking take it. I'm having it. And that's power over. So it's power over someone for your want, your need, your desire. And the want's very quick. You're not taking care of anything. You're not taking care of the scenario. A lot of these porn scenes too, the daddy, daughter, the neighbor, all of this stuff, it's all stuff that's illegal out in the real world. But we also know that happens all the time and women have no say. How can you prove it? You get told all the time. I'm working with clients at the moment going through big cases, and lawyers just say, well, how can we prove it? Rape is really hard to prove. Like it's conditioning men to know that they can do whatever they want to women. Now, watching a scene that isn't real, because as we know with acting, it's not real, it's not reality. But because you see it all the time, you think it's reality. And Stephen Biddop, when I left Australia 12 years ago, Stephen Biddop has written these. Have you ever heard of him? Do you know this Australian author?
No.
So he's the one that changed everything for me when I had my baby and it was a boy and all of this stuff. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with a boy? He's written an incredible book called Raising Boys. Then he started. So 12 years ago, I was leaving Australia, and so it must have been like 13 years ago. He's like, fuck, he needed to start writing books on raising girls, because then 12, 13 years ago, it was in the Australian culture immensely, because that's where he was doing his research. The amount of young girls that were 11, 12, 13, 15, who's saying that they had boyfriends, but they'd never kissed. For them to have a boyfriend means they performed fellatio. So performing is a performance. Boys were going to girls, okay, you've got to do this to me. And so then the boys get to come, and it's like nothing happens for the girl other than sore throat, sore mouth, all of this stuff. No kissing, no intimacy. porn also, the whole thing around conversations. There's no conversations, there's no rejection, there's no like trying to do thing, like, really trying to create a story for the woman's system to feel safe. There's no safety for the feminine. It's all coercion. So then we're teaching generation after generation of boys that sex is coercion. If she says no, don't worry, just push. If she says no again, don't worry, just do it. She says no again, you get to rape her. You get to do what you fucking want to her. That is what porn teaches boys. You get further and further. So then you have this concept that there's also a hatred towards girls that reject them, because now you can just bring out violence. I know this is not I'm not saying, I've got clients that watch porn and there's no way they would treat women this way. Yes, but it's all in. So then also too, if we look at the system of men, like the nervous system, if you're watching porn in this way, and this is how you've educated yourself, which also means quick ejaculation. There's no like lasting longer. There's no asking the woman what she needs. There's no aftercare. The only aftercare is like fucking smear it on your face. There's no, like, it's all about the man still, the cum shot, what it looks like. There's no like raising your energy up. So then there's no teaching the man about his greatness. Or something else I was going to say about that. Inherently deep down, young boys or boys, especially if you've got sisters and mothers, know that violence is not okay. So then they don't go towards women, because you've got arousal, fuck, I'll do what I want, I'll take it, I'll do it, I'll have it in 3-4 minutes. But then you have reality out there, so you can't go out to reality, because you don't walk in fully clothed into a room, there's a girl on a couch, then you fuck her within 3 minutes, no matter whether she's a yes or no, and walk out. I mean, people do. And there is a whole, if you get into groups of women, like we're talking about, so many women, like on dating apps and stuff, like straight away, delete, trying to have a conversation with a guy. And it's so obvious. It's so obvious the way people speak. Like when I'm speaking with my female friends and stuff, so, oh, fuck, I tried to get on, but this is it. It's like, oh God, I got on Bumble for 10 minutes last night. It's just so full on. It's just like, they can tell when someone watches too much porn. You can tell by the way that they approach you, tell the way that they're talking to you, tell the way, it's like, dude, I'm not a fucking mannequin. Like, I'm a person, like, and this belief, you can see it in the dating apps, like you match. It's like, when I come to my place I had years ago, I was to this guy, like not with this guy at all. I was like, do you want to come? I said, oh, that's a bit much. Why? You're safe with me. I'm like, I don't even know you. Yeah, just come over to the sauna and just I'll come and hop into the sauna. I'm like, why? No, hot tub, sorry. I'm like, why would I hop in the hot tub with you? We've never even met. Oh, what? You want me to take you out to dinner first? Fuck off. It's like, it's not that you have to take me out for dinner and spend all of this money. It's like, we need to meet. So it's just the misunderstanding. It's just that we're cutting out the ability to converse. So what happens then, of course, men go into depression. Men, it's like, well, fucking women, they don't like me, or fucking, it's all of this stuff. I know I'm speaking in containers. Not all men are like this, but I'm trying to get to the point where if you've got young boys, and there's so much data now where boys are not, they're getting to 23, 24 and they've never kissed a girl. Yeah, because they don't know how to talk to a girl, especially when you're looking at cultures like Asia, looking at a lot of, and it doesn't have to be in Asia. We're looking at the States, we're looking at Australia, we're looking at the Western world as well, where so many boys, young men, are in their early 20s and they've never kissed a girl. Because their energy as well is like, they don't know how to talk to a girl, because they're just ejaculating to all of this, like these scenes, and so they go out. If they don't know how to talk to girls, or they're not well versed, then they go out and it's like, why are girls just not fucking? Why are they just not coming to me so we can fuck? Because that's all they know of the feminine, is what the masculine project has demonstrated to them as a feminine. And so porn creates this environment that women are not human. They can be dehumanized at any fucking point. And when we look at a society where the sex industry has not dropped, when we look at the children, the amount of children, being kidnapped and stuff hasn't dropped, it's only rising. Like, you need to understand what it feels in our body. Like, for me to have this conversation, I'm sweating. the whole porn thing is just like, it closes my like, we know, because it's like, if someone's going to come, this is not that, when we were talking before about the primal energy and to take your woman, that's in safety and openness, because this is not, this is like full on, it's going to hurt. You don't give a fuck about me. You're going to do what you want, and it's just going to fucking hurt, and you get your needs met. Where am I in this equation? So instead of masturbating, you want to use my body to masturbate with. There's no boundaries and consent whatsoever. And so it fucks up the brain of the men. It's like, you've got mothers and aunties and grandmothers and sisters. Like, it's as a woman, it is so painful to have that industry pushing our society, because we're not safe in the world anyway. Before porn came out, we're not fucking safe in this world like you are. We do not get to walk down the street like you do. Now we have the porn industry, and it's like, it's tenfold, because that, it's conversations. You even were saying before about when you started, how women started to trust you more when you started practicing semen retention, because we know that you're not going, like, we know that you're not looking for that quick fix.
Yeah.
We feel it. We feel it.
Well, Melissa, I'm really grateful that you shared this with me, because I never saw that from a women perspective. I talk with men about porn, but hearing from you, it's like, wow, it's really like shocking. And I knew, like I said, it's women, it's hard for them to feel safe, especially with men, because they cannot trust them, because they have maybe an agenda, or they lie and they deceive, because they're not truly honest with themselves and with women. And porn is making it worse. And what I want to add is, with me, I wasn't aggressive towards women. I didn't hate them. Because for me, when I watched porn, it was more for me to create safety. It was a safety for me to not get hurt, not feel rejection.
This is such a good thing to say. Thank you for saying that. Can I say something to that?
Yeah,
Because
for
you
sure.
because you have completely created okay. Women are, our biggest fear is that we're going to be hurt by men, and hurt means really fucking hurt by men, not emotionally hurt. Our biggest fear is we're going to be physically hurt by men. How that shows up in our body, like, you can, I don't know if you can see, like, all of my energy changes here, like how that shows up in my body is the same way men are afraid that women are going to laugh at them. And you just said that. It's like creating safety so you won't be rejected. And that's what porn really speaks to for men. Don't worry. You don't have to build skills on how to operate in humanity and in humans with women. You can get freedom through ejaculation. You can get the arousal by staying at home, because she's not going to laugh at you. She's not going to reject you. So you've nailed it on the fucking head. Creating this container of perceived safety, so that, because you don't have to go through rejection from a human. And that's what it speaks to. That's what it's pushing. That it's really, there's another word I'm trying to find that I can't find right now. But how women feel in their body around being hurt, by being really hurt, by either dying, being raped, all of this stuff, like the fear that we're going to be physically violated by men, is how men feel towards women about being laughed at, rejection. And so porn has taken away that decade that young boys would go through around learning how to build the capacity to hold rejection, or build the capacity to, okay, if I don't want to be rejected, why don't I become intelligent? Why don't I learn about other subjects? Why don't I learn about things that I can talk to women about? Why don't I read? Maybe I'll start doing some cooking classes and learn how to cook. Why don't I go to my grandmother and learn stuff? They don't need to do any of that shit. So it's actually making boys and men really fucking stupid as well. It's making you guys really stupid, because you don't have to build a capacity to be intelligent, to have arousal and intimacy and interaction. You don't need to do anything to have interaction. You can just be at home and turn on the screen. You don't need to be intelligent. You don't need to build a damn thing in your intelligence to have this arousal, because porn will take care of that. So it's weakening our men, our boys, incredibly so.
I know. Yeah, I saw it with myself, how it was really weakening me, really afraid to get rejected, afraid to go out. I remember when I go out and I didn't talk to girls, I was really afraid.
Mm,
And once I did, she just walked away. It was like, okay, yeah, you
mm,
see, I'm not good enough. So I went home and then I watched porn because it
mm-hmm.
gave me some safety.
Yeah.
Even though I feel now talking about it, like there comes so much emotions because it really hurts.
Yeah.
I had so much attachment to her outcome, and to get something, but I was so wired to. I wanted to sleep with her. I wanted to get that fix just to. So I
Mm,
sleep with her and then I feel good. It's the same way with porn, and it's
mm-hmm.
so painful. And I think a lot of men, they don't see it because there's so much taboo on it. It's like, well, you just watch porn and you turn it off and you're done. But for an addict, it's different. We feel so attached to it because it feels safe. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, we don't get rejected. She doesn't laugh at you. She doesn't walk away. She not walk to her friend and point at you and start to laugh. You don't see
Yeah.
that. So for
Mm,
men, I understand it. When men they're so afraid to letting go of porn. I know because I've been there.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Because I can feel through the screen like that
Yeah,
emotion that it
I really
rises and
feel
it,
it. So,
yeah.
oof,
Mm,
it was really it was really hard to quit. But now that I let go of it more, like we discussed in the beginning before we started recording, once you start to learn your power, your masculine power, your feminine power, it's all together. We have it all. You have masculine energy, I have masculine energy, you have feminine energy, I have feminine energy. But really learn to harness that and make it together. And with the sexual energy, it's really powerful. I see now I'm manifesting women into my life. I'm manifesting clients, guests. The business is changing. I'm more grounded. I feel more powerful.
mm-hmm.
And it took so long for me to really let go of porn, of the safety cocoon, instead of trusting myself and really go out in the world. And still, yeah, I have my moments that I feel scared to talk to women, or I'm afraid of doing something else, but I know I'm working on it. And I feel like porn
Mm,
has so caused so much damage that I didn't even see it. But now that I'm aware and how it took away my power, it's like, wow, it's men need to know that it's not okay to watch porn. And I saw porn in the beginning as a really bad thing. I was so angry at it. I was so angry at myself. But once I learned to let go, and yeah, I can watch porn, but it doesn't have any hold on me. It
mm-hmm.
doesn't have any, it has
Mm-hmm.
any power over me. I'm not a slave anymore to pornography.
I think
So
that's a
that was,
really good point to make is like the how are we using it? Because when
yeah.
I also want to place in here, because I don't know how far and wide this interview is going to go. Like when we look at the erotic blueprints, one of the blueprints is the sexual. And the sexual is 0 to 10, boom, like that. The aroused, boom, boom, boom. The what do you call it? The toys, the quick orgasm. It's like, she's bending over. I'm now aroused. I want to have sex. And it is a blueprint. It is a part of some people's nervous system, the way they tritate to pleasure. So porn can be, I think it's like anything. If we were to vilify porn on like 100%, there's some beautiful porn that is created by women, the stories. And there is, right, like when we're looking at that kind of blueprint, pornography as a way to see something different. If you're watching, and not that you have to always watch it with your partner for it to be valid, but as you say, if you're not a slave to it, you're not sort of like removing yourself from society because of it, you're not addicted to it, you're unable. It's like, for some people, porn is a really beautiful tool, but we have to be aware of how we're using it, how it gets used. And the other thing with porn is like, the people in it, are they there because they're coerced, because they've been kidnapped from Eastern European countries or Central South America? You don't even have to do that. They can be kidnapped in their own fucking countries. I'm actually a bit over this narrative that, it's like all of these sex slaves come from down here. It's like it's within Australia, within the US, within England themselves. So it's also, we don't know. That's why it's also having a look at, what's the word? There's a word, not integral porn, conscious porn. That's not the word. But it's like, where are these videos in these movies coming from? So there's an incredible woman in Portugal or in Spain. Can't remember her name, Erica someone, where she makes really conscious porn, and it's all written by women, but her actresses and actors choose to be there. They're not. Whereas a lot of porn that you're getting on sites and with, you have no idea where those girls have come from. You have no idea if they're coerced. You don't know how old a lot of them are at all. And the fact that they're, acting out scenes that are illegal, there's, as far as like the daddy daughter, all, not all the time stuff. So it's also that energy is, you don't like not understanding, is it coerced? Is it a choice? Is it all of this stuff? So it's even looking at, and maybe it is conscious porn. I don't think that's a word, but there are arenas where it's all in boundaries and consent. It's all incredible stories. It's all people that want to be there. There is a whole world that does encompass that, but it's not the world that you and I are talking about right now. So I just want to bring in that differentiation, that there is a difference, and where we're making the decisions to make sure we're involved in that arena as opposed to the other.
Yeah, actually, I did a solo episode and I talked about it as well. There's like healthy porn. It's like you said, it's a story. It's more like gentle. Women are respected in the scene and not just like slave and pushed on the couch and fucked, but really in a beautiful way. So there's a different with the hardcore and really with the softness. And we were really exposed to the hardcore because they want to diminish women. You want to see it as a slave, as an object, and not as a human being because of agendas and everything that's running. But I really like for us to slowly close off the episode with the power of the energy, the sexual energy. How important is it to learn to harness that power, that sexual energy? Like I mentioned, once I ejaculated every day, I felt empty. I felt drained. I didn't feel that I've accomplished anything. So how powerful is sexual energy?
If sexual energy is creative energy, it creates. So it's like, your ejaculate is liquid fucking gold. It is the building blocks to build a human being. Like it's insane. And so that, what it builds, what's encompassed in this elixir, and with a woman who can grow a human in her body. And if sex was designed, or sexual energy was designed only for procreation, there would be like 128 billion people in the world, not 8 billion. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you think of a woman's life and how many menstrual cycles she has and how much she has sex, so she's only, ovulate. We have the spiritual ovulation, which is 1 day, but then we have this 4-day window, it depends on, 3 to 5 day window that she can become pregnant. If sex was only for procreation and the building of a human, we'd be able to become pregnant 28 days of our cycle. Sexual, like, just think about that. I laugh about all of this stuff. We're just crazy. So it's creative energy. And so when you're building this energy and using this energy, it creates a fabric in the universe around you. I mean, it gets a bit woo-woo, but it's really fucking true. The Taoists have known it, the Tantrists have known it. You've just even said like exactly how you've known it. And I actually have my own story on that this year. So 2 full moons ago, same thing. It's like coming out of the end of last year and Christmas and New Year, and it's just like, so like once again did some rituals at full moon and practices, and then I had this lover come into my life, and every time we're intimate, even the way that we kiss, I'm always like opening my heart and opening everything, and I think about what I want to bring to my life. And since I've been seeing him the last 3-4 weeks, it's like fucking clients are coming in, money's coming in, jobs are coming in. And I'm meeting all of these incredible people that are talking to me about stuff. And then I'm doing the same posts around my health, around my stuff. And I'm like, I wasn't getting this attention a few months ago. It's like, so it's this energetics that we're more open. It's like we become more woven into the fabric of creation of the universe, because sexual energy is creative energy. So the opposite is if you use it or lose it. If you're not masturbating, if you're not self-pleasuring, if you're not, we're just in cortisol. And what happens, if you think of energetically, what is it like when you walk into a room and someone's highly stressed and they're really shut down and they don't love themselves and they're like, you don't want to sit and talk to them. Walk into the room that someone's just like so well fucked. I mean, it's like I'm so well fucked at the moment, and I will go out with my girlfriends, and this happened last night. And this is like, I'm not here bragging. This is the thing. It's not this sort of brag. It's just, this is tangible stuff. You know, I then want you to give some examples of what it's like when you go out with women coming to you. But I was out the other night with 5 of my female friends, and we're all dancing. The whole night, I've got people and I'm coming, you know, like, oh yeah, like come and meet my friends, and like I was like, what the fuck is it that everyone's talking to you? And I'm like, I'm well fucked. Like, it's like, she goes, yeah, but he's not. I said, he doesn't have to be here. Like, I'm so well fucked. It's like the energy of openness, and it's not people coming to me because they want. It's like, I want to dance with you. Oh my god, who are you? Do you? And it's just because you want to be near. If you think about who you get attracted to. You get attracted to people that are open and delighted. You don't get attracted. You don't want to go talk to the person that's highly stressed. You're not like, oh, like, you know. So I'd love you to share what it's like for you as a man going out when you are not ejaculating, and what it's like to have women flop, you know.
It's magic. It really is magic. It's really, you feel good because it's not like you have to work. You don't have to chase. It's like you're in your natural state. Yeah, exactly. You're magnetic. Your women, they pull towards your energy. They feel good. They feel safe because you're not watching porn. You're not ejaculating. You're just living life. You're on purpose. You have any desire. You know what you want in life. And women, they feel that. It's like, I will tell you something crazy, and you know right away. It was a couple of years ago. I wanted to go out, and I was holding my semen for like 3 to 4 weeks, almost a month. And I was walking down the street, and there were 3 girls in front of me walking. And one, she turned and she laughed at me. It's like, how do you know that I was walking behind you? I didn't talk. I wasn't loud. She turned around and she laughed at me right away. It's like, how can she know? So that's how I know how powerful sexual energy is. Women can feel it.
I love the, you know, the word magnetic is we create this magnetic field. Rather than create, we're exuding this magnetic field. And this is not just sexual, like you don't like just so people can have sex with you. It's like opportunities. Is it, as you say, women feel safe. And my friends and I, with female friends, and we always talk about this. You know, we've done experiments before where you sit at a bar, you sit somewhere, and you can tell the guys that are watching porn because they have this like really adolescent type like sort of thing, as opposed to this confidence and this groundedness. It's like, oh yeah, I want to be that. And you move so that you go and stand next to that person. And it's like you want to like, I just want to rest here. Like our nervous systems can rest, and in rest, there's turn on. So this is another thing when we're talking about the word safety. In safety, there's turn on. If a woman feels like safety, now we're turned on, and now it's like, oh, I want more of that. You know, I want that, as opposed to running away from something. So yeah, it's true shit. It's like voodoo shit. It really is. It's real shit. This is not made up stuff. It's real stuff. Yeah.
Well, Melissa, it's been really powerful. I really enjoyed our conversation. I've learned so much about what you shared, and also your vulnerability. I also love your rawness, your liveliness. So don't lose that. I have 2 more questions. When men are listening to you and they want to work with you, what is the best way for you to help them? Is it really about porn addiction? Is it about the sexuality? Is it to become better with women, better with sex? What is it that men are coming to you to?
All of it. All of it. When I work with men, it's always between a 4 and a 6 month container. And because it's everything. How we show up in life is how we show up in the bedroom. So how we do sex is how we do life. It's, you know, if this is also one thing that's so beautiful to understand. If you are someone that's watching a lot of porn and you're at home, it's like, okay, we have something that's here, this beacon, this thing that is like porn, but where else are you not showing up for yourself in your life? Like my work, I often say, it's like the biggest life coach that you can ever have, in a way. Well, not in a way, it's true, because it's how we're doing one thing is also the way that we operate. So It's interesting how things go in energetics. I went through a stage where every single client for a whole year was coming around porn, but also too, it's like I have a lot of men in relationships, and this is so beautiful, men that are in the relationships where the children have left home, they're still with their partner, they've been married for 35, 40, 50 years, and it's like bringing their relationship back to the juiciness, understanding more. It's like also where it's not even just bringing it back, it's creating more in their relationship, working with erotic blueprints with these incredible men, and how they can, often it's like the nice guy syndrome where they haven't had boundaries for 30 years. 30, like we're talking 30, 35 years not having boundary, and sort of supporting them to go in and have a boundary and take the woman out and do these things and understand our maps of arousal, understand opening our hearts, all of that stuff. So for often too, it's a lot of education around things that they may have never heard before, and then how to implement that in their lives and their marriages. And it's so exquisite. And there's one thing that always shows up with all of my coaching is we get about 3, maybe sometimes 5 weeks in, and the client will come in and go, I had the best fucking sex of my life, and we haven't even talked about sex. I'm like, yeah, it's not about sex. Got nothing to do with it. Everything's about sex except for sex. So when we work through all of these layers, it's like she's asking me to come home. She wants to know when I'm coming home. She won't let me go. And I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, because everything's about sex except for sex. And when we can work on these layers, and when we can look at the bigger picture, we have an incredible wholeness around all of this.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much. Also that you helping men to discover their power, and also to open up, and also give women their men back, not just
Yeah.
boys. I think that's really important.
Oh, I love that saying. I help your partner to get the man back.
Yeah. You're not just married to a boy, you're married to a man now, so enjoy. But it's really important, the work that you do. So really, thank you so much for doing what you do and helping men and society, really bringing back. I know we're on the same page also with agendas and what's happening, but if we go there, it's going to be a long episode.
Have to have another one.
Yeah. But I'm really grateful that we met and that we have this conversation, and it's really powerful. So thank you so much. The last, well, it's gonna be 3, but the last 2 things that I want to ask. The first thing is, what are the 5 to 3 tips that you can give men that they can start with this journey, with they start quitting porn, or they start with the sexual power, or with treating women better, or discovering their own bodies, discovering the body of women? What are the steps that they can take to become a better version of themselves?
First thing in everything, in business, talking, sex, masturbation, slow the fuck down. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
And also what I want to say to that is slow the fuck down, or slow down 10 times. So if especially if you're in bed with a woman, she says, can you slow down, then slow down again, then slow down again, and slow down 10 times. Now, once you slow down, now you're in a place where she can receive you. Because often men will slow down and they'll just take 1 minute more to do something. It's like, So slow down, like really. And also too, this is going to support you with lasting longer. So slow down, breathe. Oh, you've gone.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Breathe. Like breathe deeply into your belly. This whole thing is like breathing deeply into your belly. So there's slowing down. Breath is really important for so many things. Start massaging your testicles, regardless around sex, everything. You need it for your health. I always say to women, if we work together for 4 to 6 months and there's only one thing you ever fucking do, massage your breasts. Same thing with men. If there's only one thing you're ever going to do, which of course you're not, but massage your testicles. This builds testosterone. This helps, hormones, all of this stuff. So this is a health thing. Massage your testicles. Start to ask. Men are conditioned to be the lone wolf in their life. This is a thing that we have with not having community, not having rites of passage. Men are just thrown into fucking life, and you've got to work it out on your own. And it's so heartbreaking. So even in relationships and marriages, I've had this conversation with clients where they're asking me like, what would my partner, if I was to take her on holiday, where should I take her? And I'm like, Have you asked her?
Yeah.
No. I'm like, I don't know where she wants to go. I don't know her. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm not, the thing is that really shows, it's like, just those simple things. It's like the amount of times that men don't ask, if you're taking a woman out on a date and you like leading, it's like, do you prefer to eat seafood or are you vegetarian? Ask questions. What is your idea of a great first date? If you don't know what to do, it's like you said, would you be willing to come? Would you be willing for us to get together on a date? And she go, yes, awesome. Would you prefer a walk on the beach or dinner? She's going to give you the answer, but you're taking the lead. But ask instead of trying to think that you have to make everything up and come up with a solution yourself. Yeah. Because often what happens is, because men are amazing at fixing things. You guys are fucking brilliant at fixing things. It is your fucking genius. It's so amazing. Problem solvers. You're incredible at that. Oh, it's so juicy. But you don't have to be in silence over here in a house trying to fix the problem and solve the problem of the date to a woman you haven't even met yet. So ask her, would you prefer this? Do you know what I mean? So asking questions, testicle massage, slow the fuck down, breathe. And the other thing is start to self-pleasure instead of masturbating. Self-pleasure in a way, because you've got to train. This is a thing. If you're only having arousal, like quick ejaculation, like you're masturbating, ejaculating, and then you're going to have sex with a woman, like you've trained yourself to do that. So once again, a sports analogy. If you play on a soccer team and you're in the championships, you don't just go on a Saturday to play. You're fucking learning to dribble, you're kicking goals, you're running with your teammates, you're practicing probably 3 nights in the week to play the one game on Saturday. Same thing with sex. Practice, train, come to me with that. I've got so many different courses so many different ways it can happen. Train yourself to last longer in bed. You can't, otherwise you're just going to her body expecting something different than what's happening at home. So train, breath, slow the fuck down, testicle massage, and ask good questions. There's your 5.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. I think the last one is really important, the communication, because I've seen a lot of couples, they're so angry and upset with each other because they don't say anything. They don't talk. They don't tell their frustrations or what they're dealing with because they're afraid or they're getting rejected or whatever. So talking with each other is so powerful and so important, because then you know what's going on in your relationship and in your life, and you can solve it. Like, man, we're solving problems, but the problem with men is we want to solve everything. If she's having a bad day, we want to solve that. If she has for example, when there's a nice guy and she's talk about a boyfriend and he's an asshole, we want to solve that. We want to fix that problem, her problem. But she doesn't want that. She doesn't want that at all. She wants to be dealing with it, and you are here for support, and that's it. And also, what you mentioned about pornography and the ejaculation problem with men is, I remember once my parents went home, I watched porn, but they came back really fast. I was like, fast. So I trained myself to ejaculate fast because of not getting caught. So if men are having problems with coming too fast, it's because you trained yourself to come fast, because people can walk in. So that was for me the realization when I realized I come too fast, because I wired myself, I trained myself to come fast. It was also what we talked about earlier, like in the past. If we are in a village and there's always danger, there's no safety, so we make a woman or we come fast inside a woman, so she has a baby. And it's still us of today, but we're so wired of getting things fast. It's about that.
Quick fix,
and the quick fix, exactly. So once I realized that, like you said, slow down and really feel myself and touch myself and feel what's going on inside my body, that's really the power. So yeah.
Also too, can I, something really important you've just said around, like, you feel like you're going to get caught so quick. It's not just that you're training quick ejaculation. You are tethering shame, guilt to the ejaculation. And that's what many, but they're ashamed that they're watching, like they're guilty, they're pissed off with themselves that they're in this loop of always watching porn. So they hate watching it, but they still do it. So then they become aroused and they're ejaculating to shame. They want to do it before their partner comes home. They want to do it before their housemates come home. So ejaculation holds the energy of shame and holds the energy of guilt. So that's the other thing when we're looking at someone coming to me, to do some work around porn. It's like, it's not the act of watching porn. What is getting you there and what's involved in it as well? So how we do life is how we do everything. So if you are tethering shame and guilt to your arousal, and then when we look at erectile dysfunction, you should say, oh, my cock's not working. It's like, yeah, you're ashamed of him.
Yeah.
You talk like shit to him. He doesn't get up, so you get angry, and it's like, it's like,
You're beating it up.
It's just, so many. Yeah. I could go on for hours, but we won't.
Yeah.
I know that you're trying to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But I love this topic.
Yeah, I know. For me, it's the same. It's important, and we just neglect it. Also, our penises, we're beating it up. We don't take it slowly. Yeah, exactly. Just the quick fix, just to come fast.
Like,
so we get this relief. Yeah. So
your cock is the barometer of your life. Your cock is your barometer of your life.
Yeah, and we need to be more gentle with it and with ourselves. So that's what I want to share. So Melissa, the last thing that I want to ask, I usually always ask my my guests, what is the most difficult moment in your life that you had to go through, and your most accomplished moment in your life? So what is the biggest downfall that you had that you need to overcome, and your biggest accomplishment, your biggest achievement?
Oh, you just brought tears to my eyes. The hardest moment, I think, the most difficult moment was the abandonment of the feminine, in the fact of, and our parents do the best that they possibly can, but the energetic of this is when I had a nervous breakdown after the sexual abuse when I was 8, all life going into and all of the danger and stuff. And so I would put myself into masculine, I worked in the gold mining industry because I hated men, didn't trust them, afraid of them. So I'm going to put myself in the middle of them. I'm going to fucking prove that I can do it. So I put myself in really intense situations, trying to get away from my fear and anger towards men because I didn't trust them. But what happened is then I became a drug addict, all of that stuff. And I remember I had a nervous breakdown living out in Kalgoorlie. And so when I got into town and I had a nervous breakdown, I couldn't work. I didn't know, I was so fucking lost. And it was all of this around the sexual abuse and not being listened to, heard, all of that stuff. So I rang my mother, and she did the best that she possibly can. It's like, and I hope to God she won't listen to this. She doesn't live it. But this is the abandonment of the feminine, and this happens, and this is not just me. I hear so many women say this. It's when the woman abandons the woman. So when I told her, she's going, what's the fuck, what is so wrong with you? And I told her about the sexual abuse. And she said, get over it. Worst has happened to other girls. Now, she didn't say that because she hated me. That is her wound. So it's a wound after a wound of where women have to abandon women because we're not safe, because she inherently in her nervous system knows, well, we can't do anything about it. No one's going to believe you. He's won. If we go to court, no one's going to believe you. So this is what I'm saying. That's what's involved in all of that statement. So in that, and that brought everything down to like how I didn't actually trust, and I was afraid of women. I was so scared of women because I knew they weren't going to protect me, just as men weren't going to protect me. Yeah. That was a huge pivotal difficult part. I remember just being, I actually didn't speak to my mother for nearly a year after that. So that was really difficult. And I can say to this day, I'm in contact with her all the time. The most is my son. I raised a boy. I was shit scared of having a kid, shit scared of raising a boy. And having this young man in my life, a boy, got me to do this work on a deeper level. I discovered Alison Armstrong when my son was 8, and it changed everything on the way that I spoke to him, and it changed how I work with men and women. When I learned how emasculating I was to men through fear and hatred. And when I say hatred, just like it's the defense mechanism. So afraid. And so I think the biggest achievement is the fact that I have a teenage boy that's about to be 19 that protects women. He street fights a lot. He protects women. He rings me. He talks to me. He's got his own journey, you know, I'm just as in, but the fact that I raised that, I kept him alive, that's a fucking miracle. I do we're all alive because our parents kept us alive. I mean, that's a miracle in itself. But I would have to say thus far, it was the journey of what it meant to have a boy and what I needed to go through that to have a boy. I mean, we have children to let them go. Like he is not my biggest achievement. Like I have my life, you know, like I'm not a mother that's, you know, that is like, oh my God, that's it for me. The achievement is how I navigated my relationship with the masculine. Because when he was born, I was just like going, what the fuck am I going to do with a boy? I don't understand men. I don't even really like them or trust them, you know, like it's like I'm in this world where I don't know what to do with men. And so my achievement was that of like how raising him brought me to my fucking knees, and I had to do something. And it was guided by God energy, you know? So yeah. And that's a forever evolving story, but that yeah, it's one of the most incredible things to be given a boy to raise.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing. I felt that it was just.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
I'm gonna get off and just sob.
Yeah, but that shows how authentic you are and how lively you are, and really from the heart, really want to help men and women really live their authentic life and not be stuck with trauma or with things that they're going with, and really live the life that they want to live. Live how you want to live, and not what government tell you to do or what your parents want you to do. Do what you want to do. Listen to your gut feeling, listen to your heart, what is telling you, what's important to you. It was really intense. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank
It was
you.
really rough also for me, some parts that we discussed, because it brought also some emotions to myself, also my own journey. But I realized it's really good to talk also about it with women. Because I was so focused on talking about this only with men, but I realize now, like, it's also important that I can share this with women as well, and also have your feminine, beautiful energy also collide with my energy and really feel it. Just have this beautiful ride and the storms, and just calm before the storm, and then it slows down. And like we have now in the end, it was really powerful, really beautiful that we had in this moment. It's like not really sex, but we connected really on a deeper level. And I felt it. I felt the pain. I felt what you've been through. So I really want to applaud you for sharing that with me. So thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
been a real honor having you on this show. I never would expect it to have this moment with you, so I'm really grateful for it. So thank you again. And how
Thank
can the listeners that heard our conversation follow you and follow your journey and the things that you do?
Yeah, the best way is we'll put the link down here is my Substack, because you know Instagram removed me a year and a bit ago, so I'm rebuilding. And also too, I share more of myself and more of the authenticity and the rawness and real, and I can use all the words I want to use on Substack. So to get into my Substack email, there is paid subscriptions, but there's also the free subscription. And as you know, like I write, I share so much. So even on the free subscription, there's so much juice and so much on, but also become a paid subscriber. You get such good coaching in the paid subscribing. And on Instagram, it's Sex, Love, and Intimacy, but I'll put the link down here because I've had to take words out and do full letters, and full stops. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. Substack's the best place. And yeah, and even Facebook, you know, I'll put my Facebook in there, but I'll put all of those links in. But I would just say, let's get into Substack, because Substack is for the people. We're allowed to talk about truth there and not get punished for it.
True. Yeah, I'm on the journey like you that as well. I'm figuring out what the best platforms I will use, but I just want to share messages like this, not only the truth, but also this is also really important. It's not like we only need to share the truth, we also need to share the deep pain, the traumas. People are traumatized, and
Yeah.
they don't want to see the dark side of it, or they don't want to see the shadow side of it. So I want to expose that, like, you need to do the work. You cannot
Yeah.
blame the government, you cannot blame your parents, you cannot blame other people, you cannot blame yourself. It's up to you to take responsibility.
Yeah.
It's up for you to step up and fix your life and do what you want to do and live the life how you want to live. So that's, for me, is the power. That's the way to live. And then your life is going to be
Mm.
magic. Sex is going to be magic. The connections with people is going to be magic. Everything is going to
Oh,
be
that's what we're
amazing.
here for. We're here for the magic. So I'll
Exactly.
also put my down below, like with all of the stuff that comes with this. I'll put my calendar link down there too, if anyone wants to have a conversation about what it's like to work with me in a
I will put
container.
everything in the show
Yeah,
notes so
that's the
people
word.
can reach out to you. So,
Mm,
Melissa, again, thank you so much. It was really,
yeah.
again, an honor. I really enjoyed the conversation. I learned so much from you. So, I'm really grateful for our
Mm,
conversation. So, thank you so much.
it's such a joy to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Is there something you want to add or something you want to say
Oh, you make me
before we
cry
wrap it
again.
up?
Yeah, it's always, when you talk about trauma, talking about masculine and feminine, the reality is we are all here walking each other home. And we need to have power alongside of one another, not power over. We're all humans we're all spiritual beings having a human experience, and it's fucking difficult. So we're all here walking each other home. Mm.
Beautiful. Yeah, really beautiful. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, it was amazing. So, thank you so much.
So my pleasure. So my pleasure. I get so much fun out of this.
So, guys, it's been amazing. Again, thank you so much, Melissa. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's you will get so much value out of this, and it was really, really powerful. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Take care.
Ciao, ciao.
Hey Lions, thank you for listening. Glad to have you on our journey to the authentic self. Want to learn more to embrace your potential? I invite you to keep listening. Do me a favor and smash the like and subscribe buttons, as this helps the show reach more listeners who need to hear these messages. See you next time.